Seems still a little bit buzzed.
Listen into Ismael Salas. All right, let's take a look at the left hand that did that damage.
Yeah, keep your head on the line. I mean, you don't move it at all. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. You're going to receive that all night. And we know that's the case with Joe Joyce. He doesn't move his head off, and he tries to deflect shots with just holding his hands up. Zhang is textbook with that left hand, man. It's sharp, it's quick, it's right on the money.
And I can't help but be reminded of something that Zhang told us yesterday. He made a mistake, meaning Joyce, in choosing me.
And Joe Joyce usually allows opponents to land 41% of their power shots. So far through the first 2 rounds, Zhang has landed 55% of his power shots, 27 of 49 for Zhilei Zhang. And no matter what the bone density, the inflammation on the right eye is going to give Joe Joyce trouble.
Bone density may be an overrated virtue.
But the heart is not overrated. And here comes Joe Joyce coming out 1-2 quick here in round 3.
See, now what Joe Joyce is trying to do is he's just trying to touch and just stay consistent with his offense. So that way Zhang will have little room to be able to just throw one counter and land it.
That right eye is worrisome in terms of how inflamed it's gotten so fast.
Good shot.
There'll be a sense of urgency for Joe Joyce here. Now Zhilei Zhang with the short right hook to the chin of Joe Joyce and the left.
Zhang's whole career can change right here if he wins this and becomes the mandatory.
Just better not run out of juice.
No,
I mean, he's won the first 2 rounds. If he runs out of juice, then it's a problem. Joe Joyce is going to come on towards the back end. We know his conditioning is elite.
There's body work from Zhang right on the belt line with the left, and takes a left from Joe Joyce.
My goodness, what a chin.
Nice left hook from Joe Joyce after taking a double left jab. And 2 straight lefts from Zhang.
See that activity right there. Counter punchers can't stand when you work the numbers on him. That's what Joyce is doing. He's working the numbers. He's touching them. He doesn't matter where he's hitting them. He just wants to lay a glove on him.
Right uppercut on the inside from Zhang.
Keep him defensive.
Opponents do land 35% of their power punches against Zhang. He's holding Joyce to just 22% so far. But there's that quick hands. And this is Joe Joyce waking up, as Ismael Salas was exhorting him to do after that second round. Oh, nice straight left from Zhang.
He does not load up with that shot. I mean, it's so hard to see. It's so quick and so precise.
Oh, there again. Joe Joyce answers with the jab, but I'm sure Zhang will take a jab over those 2 lefts that he's able to land on the chin of Joyce.
See all that work from Joyce. He's trying to take the psyche of Zhang. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to take over his mind. He's trying to let him know, like, hey, I'm going to be here all night. I've hit you you hit me with my best shot, and I'm right here in your face.
But Zhang continues to do damage. His shots are the most telling so far through the first 3 rounds against Zhilei Zhang. All right. The left hand of Zhang has done damage. A bloody mouth in the first round, bloody nose in the second, and the inflammation over that right eye for the third.
Just can't miss with this shot. This is an automatic punch from Zhang. You know, I remember from the amateur, watching him on the amateur videos, this is a shot that he's mastered. You know, left-handers, that's the kill shot for them. Right-handers typically want to land right hands against left-handers, but left-handers, they do it more often. They understand the angles from an orthodox stance, you know, and that's the reason why you have a guy like Joyce having a hard time landing his straight right hand is because he's not choosing the right angle. He's not choosing the right angle to punch from.
I don't know if Zhang can take Joyce out, but it looks to me like his best shot is to close that right eye. with left hands.
I agree. So far, Zhang is outlanding Joyce by 5 punches. Now Joyce, his punch output has increased 210 over 3 rounds. That's at a 70 punch per round pace, closer to his 80 punches per round that he's used to putting out.
He was the busier fighter in the last round. I have him down 2 rounds to 1. Joyce, Zhang winning the first 2.
And I'm not sure that the most damaging shots from Zhang didn't win him that 3rd round. It was the best round for Joyce, and he is the hometown fighter.
Joyce getting busy now, finding room for his right hand. It's all about foot positioning when you fight in the southpaw. You want to get your foot on the outside of the southpaw. That's going to line up your backhand.
And let's not forget the conditioning issues that Zhang has shown in the past. We talked about how important that early start was going to be for him. It worked out so far, and now Joyce is coming on.
Joyce is coming on. He's going the right way, too. He's moving the right way. And that's to the weak side of the southpaw. Towards the left, towards the right jab of the southpaw.
Zhang still able to land that straight left.
But it's just one shot at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, these judges, they can be counting that, but they can also be counting the activity of Joyce.
And that right hand from Joyce, which is starting to find the chin of Zhang. There's that straight left once again and follows it up.
Double. Back-to-back left hands.
There's another straight left right around the glove of Joyce from Zhang. This is a clinic on the southpaw left by Zhang, and how not to defend it by Joyce. They have the inflammation once again on the orbital bone of Joyce. Could be worrisome as the fight progresses because those shots continue to land, opening up a right hook from Zhang.
Anytime Zhang gets his foot on the outside, he's throwing that left hand down the pipe, and he's throwing the right hook to follow now. He's cut off Joyce on that side, not allowing him to get there.
You realize this is a 280-pound or so heavyweight, and Joyce is just eating these straight shots right to his chin, right to his face.
I don't think that's a good thing to boast about if you're Joyce, because Zhang has heavy hands and he's doing damage. You can see it on the face of Joyce. Goodness. They're doing a great job in the corner, keeping that right eye open, but that could change with any left hook from Zhang, which continues to be his punch of choice.
It doesn't look like you can take Joyce out with a punch, but you can close his eye.
Absolutely. If you keep
and force the issue with the ref or the doctor.
4 rounds in the books, as exciting as we expected between 37-year-old Joyce and 39-year-old Zhang.
One problem, Jovi. The only one problem, you keep your head too much in the same line.
Going to be a problem for him in this fight.
Salas also demanded that Joyce pick up the pace. That's his best shot here, Mark. He needs to keep Zhang off of him and keep that left hand from being able to not only be thrown, but connect like it is once again here in round 5.
Well, pace will win rounds. Busyness will win rounds. Remember, he's the home fighter.
And if you push the pace against a counter puncher, you're able to throw shots, deflect a lot of the shots that are coming your way, the counters.
Especially a counter puncher whose stamina is suspect. But that straight left isn't stopping, man.
My goodness. When we take a look at the power punch over the last few fights for Zhang, he is on fire tonight comparatively. There's that left once again. that right eye of Joe Joyce continues to worsen. There's a left hook, and if he's not seeing the lefts, that is going to cause even more trouble as you finally take a look at those CompuBox numbers that favor Zhang and his power punches at over 50.
Zhang is also catching a lot of shots too.
Yes, he is catching a lot of shots. He's playing possum right now.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to get credit from the judges. But
wait till you see this uppercut he's going to be trying to throw in a minute, Zhang.
This is dangerous territory for Joe Joyce. 14-0, 14 knockouts, but cannot get away from that left hand that Zhang said is going to pierce the armor of the Juggernaut. And you see the bloody nose, the closed eye from Joe Joyce. A bad combination. We talk about him being at home, but the narrative of the fight, the body language, and how you look will obviously be on the judges' mind.
I mean, he's catching those shots.
Yep, pairing.
Yeah, Zhang right now is playing with house money right now. He's taking his time. He's trying to allow Joyce to wear himself down.
I don't know, Timmy. He cannot play with house money being on the road.
Right now.
Being on the road. A guy who has a reputation for fading.
Look at the now inflammation and how purple the right side of Joe Joyce's face. I mean, that left hand is totally demolishing the face of Joe Joyce.
Now, Zhang is bleeding from the nose too, and he's been kind of quiet the last minute or so. He can't give away time in the rounds.
There's that jab from Joe Joyce. Can he pick up the energy, pick up the pace here on Zhang? The bruising on the face of Joe Joyce is impressive as he goes back to his corner, and they go immediately to work.
You all right? Okay. Yeah, say.
You see the left hand coming out of that eye?
Yeah.
Enough?
Yeah.
Listen, when you punch, okay, when you get close, stay there.
Stay there.
The shot you're getting hit with is the fucking backhand, the long backhand when you're out of range, okay? When you get close, stay there. Work on those short hooks and uppercuts. Right? Double up the hook, finish on the right uppercut. And if you come back out to long range, fucking do it off the line, okay? Don't get caught with the backhand
Okay,
on the way out. All right?
Okay, Jovi.
It's a
The
big thing
corner
now.
asked Joe Joyce, can you see the left hand? He said, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's seeing it.
Bernardo, that was not a convincing yeah to me.
Absolutely.
That was a no.
That was like, the doctor is coming in as time is called to check on that right eye of Joe Joyce. Anytime the doctor whispers to the referee, that cannot be good for the fighter who's being checked out. The bruising is intense. The inflammation of the eye, it's closing. And every time Zhang lands one of those hammering left hands, it makes it worse.
But now we're going to see the urgency with which Joyce fights back.
We talked about Zhang has never earned a stoppage past the 5th round. And Mark, you mentioned it earlier. It may not be a knockout, but it could be a stoppage based on that eye.
We're also going to see if Zhang can answer his critics, which call him into account for fading in all his big fights. He can change his life here. He can change his career. He can't if he avoids fading.
Stop being lazy and fight.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. Stop being lazy and fight.
But
You want to win.
midway through the last round, he stopped throwing. And it's his fight to win or to lose right now.
Now a right-left combination, another straight left. And you said Zhang wasn't throwing? Well, Zhang says, here's some more. Big bang, and boy,
Obviously, he heard me.
No, he didn't hear
Here
you.
comes the doctor.
This cannot be good for Joe Joyce as the inflammation now completely closes that eye. The doctor is coming up. Goodness. Still see he's going to plead to continue, but the fight is over, and Zhang has pulled off the minus 1100 upset on Joyce. The juggernaut did everything he'd done before, but he'd never faced a puncher like Zhang, and someone who could do that type of damage to his face. And today he paid the price for depending on his chin.
Didn't I say that? I told you, you can't depend on your chin. Sooner or later, you're going to run into somebody that's going to swell you up just like that.
And Timmy didn't bet.
No, what?
You thought about betting, but you didn't, huh?
I didn't know.
All right.
I ain't got time to be going out betting, going down
This-
the money.
This was an extraordinary fight. Makes the division more interesting. You know, Zhang has changed the narrative of his career. I'd see him in there with anybody. He's a little funky. He's real big. He's got a quick left hand. And I think, as I said before, I think he's learned immensely from the Hrgovic loss. I would see a rematch of this. I'd see a rematch of Hrgovic. I'd see Zhang in against anybody. It's an interesting fight.
This is where we always say skills pay the bills. That's what you saw with Zhang. Skills. You're going to get the will. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get the will. You're going to get the consistency coming from Joyce. You know, you're going to get the heart. You're going to get the strong chin. That's what you're going to get. But as far as skills go, he didn't have the better skills going into this fight. And as you saw, the cream always rises to the top. And Zhang went on a clinic.
One word of praise for Joyce is, listen, he's the mandatory, and we've seen too much in this division of mandatories waiting for their title shot, doing nothing in between. Joyce chose not to do that, take a real fight. Remember, Zhang told us yesterday, he made a mistake in choosing me. Zhang is right. I wouldn't mind running it back. I'll see Zhang against anyone. If it's Zhang and Tyson Fury, I'm good with that too.
I hope it doesn't go for Zhang the way it did for Otto Wallin after he gave Tyson Fury all he could handle. Because sometimes becoming the mandatory is the worst thing that can happen for you unless you're next in line. And in this situation,
Zhang and Wallin fight it out.
Yeah, I mean, but Zhang really made a name for himself. If you didn't know him before, you know him now, and you understand just how dangerous he is, especially early. Respect to a valiant Joyce who loses for the first time. And let's take a look at this fight, Tim, because there was a lot of action.
Yeah. Zhang couldn't miss with the left hand. I mean, that was a shot that I knew going into this fight that was going to make a home run for itself. You know, Joyce did what he can do. I mean, Joyce, he fought back hard. He was busy with his offense in spots, but he just didn't move his head.
Foster stops the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout and new WBO interim heavyweight champion of the world, Joyce Big Bang Zhang.
Make no mistake about it. The real champions, the real kings in the division are Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. But Zhang made history for China tonight as he becomes the first Chinese world champion at heavyweight. And here are the power punch stat numbers. 78 of 140 landed for Zhang. The heavyweight average is in the 40s. He got into almost Shakur Stevenson territory at 56%. And that's pretty impressive, holding Joyce to 24% in power punches. And you see in the face of Zhang just what this means to him, what this means for his country. An Olympic silver medalist that makes good and wins gold at the professional level.
Pride of Patterson, New Jersey, Zhang.
Great performance by him. He displayed a ton of skill tonight. It's power. We know he's a great puncher in there. Good speed. You know, he bought his time well. fought his time well. I thought he flowed very smoothly in the fight, and I was worried about him fading. Yeah,
Yeah.
I started to see